Hi, Karina from Piddix here. Today's video, we're going to take this pre-existing template and rearrange it to suit your needs. For example, let's say you want to do a presentation that is only cups and saucers. First thing we're going to do is make sure that Auto Select Layer way up here at the top is turned off. Open up the Product Mockup section, and I'm actually going to delete by group all of the parts that I don't need at the moment. Once I've done that, I'm going to do a File Save As and save this template as something like cups and saucers so I don't lose my original template. And then I'm going to start playing around with these parts and get them looking the way I want to. For example, since I want this to be cup and saucer, I want the cup to be much larger in proportion to the plate than it is now. Hold down Shift and drag this, and I'm doing this, I'll make this about maybe 2.5 inches tall. Hit return, and I'm doing this with this coffee cup mock-up selected. Once I like the proportions and how these look together, I'm going to duplicate this. Do the same thing and fill in this space. So coffee cup mock-up, right-click, duplicate group. I'm going to call this one bottom. You could also call it 2, or whatever you want to distinguish it. And same with the plate, right-click, duplicate group. Call this bottom, click OK. I'm going to move over here in my layers on the right. I'm going to move the bottom ones down just to keep track of them a little bit better. And then selecting these two, click and drag them both. And within this, let's see, so instead of doing an absolute duplication, select it over here. I'm going to move this over to the right to get a little bit of variety. Once you've got this blank template looking pretty good, maybe with your logo and the collection name, save it again so that this is your new blank template before you add our own artwork. To add your own artwork, you're going to follow the steps in the first video, but the basics are Auto Select Layer, select the layer where you want to drag your artwork. In this case, round plate, add your image here. I'm going to drag this image over from Illustrator. Click Return, move it into place, make it a little larger. Now, and hit return. One of the things you'll notice that all of a sudden I don't like how this teacup is fighting with this plate. I can't see his nose. So in that case, I'm going to go back to turning Auto Select Layer off. Pull up my round plate mock-up. Here's the coffee cup mock-up, and I'm just going to move this down. So the basics are, if you're dragging artwork over, make sure the Auto Select Layer is turned on. That'll get you about to the right spot where you want to be. But anytime you're moving groups of items, you will want this turned off. Otherwise, you're going to be grabbing everything in the background. Now, just go ahead and follow all the steps of how to add your own artwork, change the background, change the logo, and you should end up with something like this. So, a couple more steps that you can do to rearrange things. Once you've got your artwork in here, and then you'll want to save this with the own file name, I'm going to play around with the logo and info page bottom. So for example, this white bottom box is this right here. Now I've seen people put their information on the top, which can look nice. I've seen somebody else do it in the middle. And then they would put these images maybe down here on the left, over on the right. What I like to do is leave it on the bottom, but give a little more space. I'm going to click on this white bottom box and pull this up so I have enough room to move the logo. Hit return, grab the logo, move it over here on the right. I can line those up if I want. Now making sure that this Auto Select Layer is still turned off, obviously these are bumping into each other. So I'm going to go back to my product mockups, and this is where it's helpful where I have things labeled. So I'm going to grab the coffee cup mockup bottom and the round plate mockup bottom at the same time. I select them both by holding down Shift at the same time. Now I can drag these both. They're starting to fight with each other a little bit, so I think I'm going to move the mug over and see if that gives me a little more space. Yep, there we go. You can play around and rearrange this a little bit, but what this gives you is space over here to add your own touch. So for example, maybe you add a couple rectangles of matching patterns. Could be great. You could add what I call like a little mascot or something that goes with the group. Hit return. One of the things I really like to do is select, for this one I'm going to start a new folder and call it colors. Open this up. You can add circles or squares or rectangles and start to add your colors. So this is just, I selected the shape, I added a shape, put some text on the bottom, grab your colors and end up with something like this. So there's a couple different ways to rearrange the existing template and really make it your own. Thanks so much.